Amazon employees, you guys have a new option available to you within your compensation plan, specifically tied to RSUs. I had like 5 people ask me to make a video on day one upon this being made official, so here we go. Specifically, you have the option to receive 25% of your RSUs in the form of cash. So what does this mean? Let's take a peek here. Let's just look at a quick example. We're going to say 100 RSUs is what we're working with just to make the math easy. You can kind of make that bigger or smaller depending on what your situation looks like. Option number 1, super easy. Literally nothing changes. You just receive all the RSUs as you are used to. Obviously, those RSUs will vest at whatever the stock price of Amazon is at your vest date. Really not a lot to think about there. Option number 2, though, is again, we basically look at taking 25% of those RSUs, and those are instead paid out at a predetermined price in the form of cash. That predetermined price, the planning price, as Amazon likes to call it, is $173.12 per share. Now, what's interesting about this, in my eyes, is that we are obviously looking to make this decision in May of 2024, but that's for shares that are vesting in 2025 and 2026, essentially 12 to 21 months into the future. And so if we had a crystal ball, it'd be really easy to look and say, well, shoot, if Amazon stock price is going to vest above that planning price of $173.12, well, shoot, give me all the RSUs. That's going to be beneficial. I end up with more money in that sense. But if we also knew that Amazon stock price was going to end up below $173.12 at the vest date, well, then we would want the cash option. Unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball. And so we have to make a more well-informed decision rather than consulting the crystal ball, right? And, I think I look at Amazon's stock price and we can look back over the last year and say, well, geez, Amazon has done really well. But then we can look just the year before that and say, well, Amazon didn't do quite as well. And, we want to look at a bigger time period here. We can look back over the course of the last 5 years and we can say that, well, man, here, I'll get out of the way for a moment. We can see that there's been time periods where Amazon's knocked it out of the park, and there's been other time periods where Amazon has struggled a little bit. End of 2022, Amazon was down 50%, right? And so this sort of volatility is very much something that could happen over the course of the next 12 to 21 months. And so if we want to almost compare these options on a dollar basis, we built a tool that we can do that with. So this is the tool right here. And really, we're looking at what is the change in price at vest from Amazon's planning price, from that $173.12 number. At $173.12 on 100 shares, we are expecting RSU compensation of, call it $17,300, right? But if Amazon stock price goes up by 50%, well, we're looking pretty good, honestly, with whatever option we go with. We're feeling pretty good, but the 100% RSU option is better than the 25% cash option to the tune of about $2,000 or about 9%. Keep your eyes on these numbers. If Amazon stock goes down by 50%, well, now all of a sudden the 25% cash option is better by about $2,000. Or in this case, though, it's better by about 25% because we're working off of a lower base right here. And so one thing that I think about in that context is that if we go the 25% cash option, if Amazon stock goes up 50%, we're feeling pretty good. We just have left a little bit of money on the table. There might be a little bit of FOMO there, but we're still feeling pretty good because the stock price is up as much as it is. And if the stock goes down by 50%, well, nobody's feeling great. But in this sort of a scenario, at least we quote unquote made the right decision. So that's one reason that people might decide to go the cash route. I think, again, in comparing these, we can come back here and we can look at the percentage change based on the price of Amazon change. How do these numbers interact with one another? And again, we see that if Amazon price goes up 50%, well, the 100% RSU option is better by 9%. If Amazon stock goes down by 50%, the 25% cash option is better by about 25%. So, one other thing that I think about is just, they call it prospect theory or loss aversion, where the pleasure from gain is often not as powerful as the pain from an equivalent loss. So One other thing to think about, and this hits some people harder than others, but again, from a FOMO perspective, from a loss aversion perspective, just something to think about. Lastly, I really like to think about here, what are the reasons that somebody might choose 100% RSUs, and what are the reasons that somebody might choose the 25% cash option? 100% RSUs, really, you're willing to take additional company-specific risk, right? You're willing to roll the dice a little bit more on Amazon stock price. And if that's the route you're going to go, that's great. That's great. Go for it. I don't have a crystal ball. I certainly hope that Amazon stock price continues to move higher, but I don't know if it will or not. Another reason you might choose 100% RSUs, again, you are willing to give up a little bit of that downside protection that we were looking at for a little more of that upside opportunity. If the stock goes wild and you say, man, I know that FOMO would hit me hard, then maybe the 100% RSU option is the right route to go. Reasons that you might choose the 25% cash option. One, you just want to take some of that company-specific risk off the table. You want to be able to diversify a little bit quicker, a little bit better. That's number one. Number two, maybe you already have a lot of Amazon stock in your portfolio. Maybe you have had RSUs that have been vesting and you have not diversified out of them. All of a sudden, we have even more stock coming down the road. In that case, I might take the 25% cash option. A really important one here in my eyes, if you and your partner or spouse both work at Amazon, this is a scenario where personally I would definitely go the 25% cash option. I have seen scenarios where couples both work at Amazon stock goes down, Amazon starts laying off people, both members of the household get laid off on the same day when the stock price is down. Brutal. It's happened before. It'll happen again at some point. If you and your partner or spouse both work at Amazon, personally, I would go the 25% cash option just to, again, take some of that risk off the table. And then last but not least, you are willing to give up some of that upside opportunity for a little bit more downside protection. So again, we're talking trade-offs here. In the grand scheme of things, do I think that whatever decision you make will make or break your financial plan? Probably not. Do I think that there are more things to think about when it comes to Amazon RSUs? Absolutely. We've put out a number of videos, and maybe we can have those, show up here on the screen somewhere. We've put out a lot of videos all about the ways to think about your Amazon RSU compensation. So I'd recommend watching those. If you have other Amazon employees that are thinking about this, if you wouldn't mind sharing this video with them, share it internally, like this video. It certainly helps a lot of employees at least come to a decision that they are most comfortable with. That's what it's all about, in my eyes, making sure that whatever decision you make is a decision that you guys are comfortable with. So if you do have any additional questions, please feel free, reach out, find me on LinkedIn, Lars Phillips, Avier Wealth Advisors. I'm easy to find. We put out a lot of great content for Amazon employees, and we work with a lot of Pacific Northwest tech employees and Amazon employees from all around the country. So please feel free, reach out if this helps. Let us know. Share it with your other fellow coworkers, and hope you have a great day. Cheers.